Alright, hello everyone. This is your host, Arctic Ghost, and I am here bringing you another episode of the Arctic Pauper Show. This time I'm bringing you a hardcore control deck. When I say hardcore, I mean really hardcore. So if you're a control lover, you're going to love this deck. This is Blue Black Mystical Teachings Control. It's basically just answers. No creatures, no nothing like that, just answers. I mean, yes, you have a few creatures in the sideboard to change up your plan. Excuse me. But the only way you win is actually Curse of the Bloody Tome. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So first off, you have 23 lands. Some people play 24, but I have found 23 with the two talismans to be good. Uh, one Bojuka Bog just because. Then you have four Dimir Aqueduct because the Karus are actually just insane. Also with land we'll get to later. You have two Dimir Guildgate, and then you have four Dismal Backwater because Dismal Backwater gains you a life. Some people like to play less common to play tap lands and more basics, but the common to play tap lands have actually been really good for me. So then you have your islands and your swamps. Then you have Radiant Fountains, which is actually really good in this deck, especially because you play Capsize, so you can just keep on gaining life over and over again. And a lot of decks sometimes have a little bit of a problem racing that. Obviously, it's not a foolproof plan, but and then you have one Mortuary Mire. This is actually an inspiration by I think it was Tavis Garen, or sorry Tavis, you ever watched this? I for butchering your name. Which in the main deck obviously doesn't do anything but be a come to play tap swamp, but in the sideboard it's really good with these guys and like the mirror and other control decks when you just want to keep bringing it back because you have Capsize. You can really take advantage of Capsize. For the one drops, one Dispel as your one mana Silver Bullet. You have a Whispers as the Muse, which I think is cool to keep drawing cards. Then you have three Disfigures just as kill spells. Then another Silver Bullet at two mana is Echoing Truth. I find it better to be the Echoing Decay because it returns any permanent that isn't a land. Then I play Remove Souls. I like Remove Soul. Remove Soul so far has been really good to me. Creatures are really what you want to deal with. A lot of people play Essence Scatter. I prefer the old school version of Remove Soul. Then you have Think Twice, just a great card. 5 mana, draw 2 cards over time. Then Counterspell, no reason to really talk about that. Then you have your a Deprive, which Deprive is actually pretty good because you can return Bojuka Bog, you can return a Backwater to gain life, you can return a Radiant Fountain to gain life, or a Polluted Mire, of course. It's an extra counterspell. Then you have Chainer's Edict because Chainer's Edict is insane. Then you have a Devour Flesh and a Diabolic Edict. Devour Flesh is supposed to be a second Diabolic Edict, but due to how much Diabolic Edict costs, I bought a Devour Flesh, which basically does the same thing. So, then you have a Doomblade, a Victim of Night, and a Agony Warp, just as different ways to deal with creatures. That's really all it is. Then you have your win conditions, 2 Curse of the Bloody Tome, so that's how you win the game. You just mill your opponent out. If they ever destroy both of them game 1, you're kind of screwed, but not really because you do have a second win condition. Then you have a one of Capsize because Capsize is insane. You have a Crypt Incursion because it gains you a bunch of life, while also sometimes hosing a couple of decks like Tortured Existence strategies and whatnot, and Songs of the Damned. One Whale of Nim is kind of your electrickery thing. It's basically what it is. And then 2 Pristine Talismans, not only to accelerate you, because they also gain life. Then you have 3 Mystical Teachings. 4 is a lot. I mean, with 3 you get 6 uses out of it. 4 I was never happy about. And then you have 2 Evankar's Justice, a couple Wrath of Gods, but also with your talismans you can actually kill your opponent like this. It's a long and rigorous process, but it does work. So there is that. So then into the sideboard you have a second Dispel, a couple Steel Sabotages. Some people play Annul, but I haven't really seen a lot of Boggles or any enchantment-based strategies lately, so I figure Steel Sabotage is better because at the very least it can bounce an artifact. A couple of Negates, an extra Chainer's Edict, just in case you play against someone that needs Edict effects like Boggles and things like that. An extra Doomblaze, an extra removal spell. A couple of Nausea, just against goblins or tokens or things that nature. One Relic of Progenitus, I'm just trying it for now. Not sure if it'll stay. And then you have your kind of control package with Gurmag Angler, a Stormbound Geist, and 2 Duress. Those are basically your anti-control cards. You do kind of want more win conditions, but Gurmag Angler can also be good just as more win cons. I mean, you can keep returning it over and over again with Mortuary Mire. It's also a way for you to not mill yourself out if you ever get into that situation sometimes, because you can just keep putting it back on top if you can keep killing it somehow. I'm not sure how you would do that, but you know. So that's the deck. Pretty straightforward. It's pretty stock. It was inspired by a bunch of people from Gatherling and a few people who I've seen do 5-0 in the leagues. So I'm gonna take this into a tournament in a little while, and we'll see how it does. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.